Hi guys, Adam here with Adam L Photography. Today we're going to be doing a product review for the Yongnuo YN560-TX controller for Nikon. This is the one I'm using for Nikon, but it works just the same for Canon. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about what this unit is good for, why you should maybe buy it, and basically my thoughts on how it's affecting my photography and helping my workflow. Okay, so a little bit of background first before we get into this. I shoot a lot in the field, a lot on location. I tend to, 90% of the times, I shoot without an assistant. I find I work better when I'm flying solo. Up until now, I've had to bounce around a bit while I'm setting up my lighting and take a few test shots and adjust the power of my lights. Now, a lot of times I'll be shooting with, say, 2 or 3 lights, and you've got them set up sometimes in like kind of precarious locations up around rocks and stuff like that behind the customer, trying to hide them a bit. So it takes a little bit of fuss and fighting around just to kind of get the lights all dialed in exactly as you want them for each shot. Now, I've always kind of thought to myself, it'd be fantastic if I had a way to like control the power and the zoom of my lights straight from my camera, so I wouldn't have to be bouncing around so much. Just set them in their place, aim them where I kind of want them, and then come back and set all the power settings on camera. And that's exactly what the YN560-TX allows me to do now. So this one little unit, which is quite well sized, it's not a very big unit, I'll just hold that up there. And it comes in at $80, I think I paid for it on eBay. It gives me full control over up to 6 groups of flashes. Now, you can have as many flashes as you want in a group, as far as I'm aware. So that, it's kind of endless, the possibilities of how many flashes you could be using and controlling with this one unit. Now, I'm just going to put this on my D3S just to show you how it sits on the camera and just the ergonomics of it all. So just put this on here. So now, that's it on my D3S. One of the things I like about what they've done here, even though it is quite a large unit, it's comparable, say, to a Pocket Wizard Plus 2 in size, is that they've given it a slight forward angle, a little bit of a slight forward camber, so that when you're shooting photos, it's not actually contacting against your forehead, so you're not going to be banging the controls and adjusting your flashes while you're shooting. That's really well thought of. I would have liked to have seen possibly even a little bit more of a camber, just so it would be completely safe, but it's really quite well designed. I'm going to take this off the camera now because I don't feel like carrying my camera the whole time. So it has a little screw in mount and then slide out hot shoe, so that works really well. Now they come, of course, with 2 different ones. One's more compatible with Nikon hot shoes, the other's more compatible with Canon hot shoes. That's really the only difference between the 2 units. So basically, on this controller here, you have the ability to control your flashes wireless. Now you can either do this through using one of these triggers, also by Yongnuo. This is the RF603N. The 602 also works with this trigger. You can set that up in the settings when you first get this unit. Personally, I prefer to be using these flashes, which I have here, which is the YN563. Now the reason I like to use these flashes over, say, the other, the YN562, which is also a great flash, is that it has the built-in receiver. So it has a built-in Wi-Fi receiver. And where that's useful is, when you mount, say, a 562 without the receiver, you're going to need a transceiver, one of these transceivers, to make it work. Now, one of the ways to mount that onto a light stand has always been to mount the trigger onto the light stand here, and then slide the flash into the hot shoe. So you can sort of see the hot shoe right there, and you mount it here. And what I've found is with a large flash on top of these units, and also mounted just here on the bottom onto your light stand mount, there's a hell of a lot of torque involved. Even just like the vibrations when you put the light stand down, the wobble that comes from the hot shoe over time will just tear this little tiny hot shoe right out and break this unit. They're not that heavily constructed, so they will break quite easily. They work fantastic, but again, to keep the prices down, they're very plasticky. So I don't like having that torque in play. I found it's broken a few before. So rather than that, you're better off, in my opinion, just buying the 563 with the built-in receiver, and that way you don't have to worry about having these on your light stand at all. So with that said, we're going to talk about how I've set these up with my 563s. Now, basically, using this receiver, you can do quite a few things. For example, right now my flash, and you can see that there, is in SE or sleep mode. Just with pressing the test button right here on my my transmitter, it can wake the flash up. Now, from here, I have control. I've set this flash up in group A, and so it's a group A, channel 1, that's my settings for this particular flash. So from here I can adjust the power. Oh, sorry, right now I'm on the zoom, so I'm adjusting the zoom of my flash right from this unit here, and then one click I'll switch that over to the power functions, and now I can adjust the power settings of my flash from here also. Absolutely fantastic. Now a lot of times I'll be using say 2 flashes, so sometimes even more, but usually it's 2. So I'll have, say, one light that's my backlight to separate my subjects from my clients from the background, and I set that one up like this one here has been set up at a group B. So I might want to have that at a little bit more power to give a nice rim light around the couple, and then I'll have my other flash, my main flash, which is kind of like a fill flash to take out the shadows and faces. I might have that set up in a completely different power and zoom setting. And having the ability to control both these units independent of each other from my camera is amazing amount of time saved right there. Just a lot of effort that's saved on a long shoot, running back and forth, lifting lights up and down and checking settings. It uses a lot of energy, surprising amount of energy over the span of, say, 2,000 or 3,000 shots, which sometimes happens on my really long shoots. So just there alone, it's an amazing saving for me, and well worth the $80 that you pay for the unit. Now, what else can we talk about with this unit? The setup on this unit, it does come with instruction booklet inside, which is somewhat easy to understand. It's not perfectly easy to understand, but the setup is really quite simple. I'm going to just quickly demonstrate how you would set this, a few of the settings up first. So what we're going to do now, you'd start off by holding this, the Hertz and function button down. And once you've held it down for a few seconds, you come to this screen. Now on this screen here, you've got, it says 01603. So right now that's kind of set up to be compatible with my YN603 transmitters. Now that doesn't really make a difference if you're going to be using these, what do you call the YN560-3s. Just leave it on the 3 and it'll work fine. So once that's in place, you want to hold your zoom channel and Hertz and function button. So we're going to hold these 2 down. And that comes up with this ACT, which is your activate button. Now when you've done that, when you hit that button, the screen on your YN560 that's connected will also, it'll display every bar on your LCD. And at that point you press the center button on both of these, and that'll set these, basically pair these 2 units together. Once you've got that set up, as long as your speed light is in its RX mode and it's at the same channel and the little, what do you call it, the Hertz, I guess, is the mode. You have 4 little buttons you can switch up and down, so your channels, I guess, is the way. So as long as you're on channel 1 and everything's set up and you've got your group setting, which will come up on there, you'll see group A is showing up onto this. It's in channel number 1, group A. Once you've got all those settings, you know that this is all set up and ready to go. So that's basically all it entails. The unit itself uses a couple of AAA batteries. It's very light, super light actually, so it's not going to add weight to your camera, and it works fantastic. So highly recommended product right here. This is Adam L, and happy shooting.